The following program is a podcast1.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show, Unleashed. Happy New Year to every single body out there. Thank you for spending part of your New Year here with me at the Unleashed Show. And this is the first Unleashed show of 2015. I hope 2014 was a bust-ass year for you. If it sucked ass, here's hoping that 2015 is a motherfucker for you. Sometimes shit gets bad. If you hang on long enough, shit will get good. I ain't got nothing else to say. We're going to go right into this show. I've got an interview here going with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. We sat down at the dinner table. I started drinking margaritas. He started drinking coffee. We answered a couple of emails that you guys sent in, wanting some motivation heading into your New Year's resolutions, all about making 2015 a better year for a brother or for a sister. I want to personally thank each and everybody for downloading this show, subscribing to the show, and helping it become the success that it has become. It's enabled me to reach all four corners of the globe. I get emails from every country that there is, always at questions@steveaustonshow.com. I'm not able to answer all the questions, but I read them all, and I appreciate everybody for taking their time out. And if you ever have some kind of information that you want to run by me, a way to make the show better, your complaints, your praise, your criticism, anything you have to offer, if you just want to write in and say hello, you send that to questions@steveaustonshow.com. Hey, I got my brother Jeff Williams who's going to jump in on this conversation. I'm talking with my buddy Ted Fowler. We're answering those questions. We're going to tell some stories, a bunch of bullshit. And now I'm going to go out and finish this open and go out and get in a deer stand. But keep in mind, folks, Broken Skull Challenge Season 2 premieres this Sunday, January 4th on CMT. Set your DVRs now. You do not want to miss one single episode of the toughest, baddest, coolest show on television today. Broken Skull Challenge Season 2 premieres this Sunday, January 4th on CMT. And also, folks, we got Redneck Island, which airs on Thursdays on CMT. Hey, I'm going to jump right into the show at this point. After a few words from one of my sponsors, and this is TrueCar. When you're ready to buy a car, TrueCar is changing car buying forever. Yes, TrueCar helps car buyers get rid of the fear that they might overpay. Every day, TrueCar users receive negotiation-free guaranteed savings, and TrueCar users save an average of $3,221 off MSRP. When you're ready to buy a car, just follow these 3 easy steps. First, download the TrueCar mobile app or go to TrueCar.com to find out what others paid for the car you want. Then register to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings. Third step is simple. Take your guaranteed savings certificate to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. With TrueCar, you can save time, save money, and never overpay. To see how much you can save on the car you want, simply download the TrueCar mobile app or visit TrueCar.com today.
Hey fans, Adam Carolla here. You know my podcast. It's the most downloaded podcast in the world, according to Guinness Book of World Records. Always available 24/7 at podcast1.com. Great guests, great topics, and new listeners always welcome. So thank you and mahalo.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the Broken Skull Ranch, sitting over here at the dinner table with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. We're going to go ahead and roll these microphones while I'm getting dialed in and set up. Today is the New Year's Eve. New Year's resolution show, Teddy. We're going to give people some 411, cut a few motivational promos. You have one or two requests for some promos, Ted. Welcome to the show. You're all sleepy-headed over there. It's interesting. I come over here, House of Fire, and I figured I got to turn this show in a day early so Stacy can put it together and she can go out and enjoy New Year's Eve because then the show drops on Thursday. So we're turning this thing in early. We got a guy out there doing some maintenance on the tractors,
Correct.
stuff that we cannot do. It's 1:25 as we speak. We're going to open up a can of audio whoop ass, spread out some wisdom, share a few stories that happened out here at the Broken Skull Ranch. And I came over here to continue down the path that I was on, though, Teddy. I walked in with a margarita. I got 3 shots of white tequila in this glass, and hell, I heard your coffee maker over at Rumblings, and well, shit. Me and Teddy going to be on different pages today. I said, I'll be the yin and you be the yang. So you said you had about 12 cups of coffee. Are you having a hard time getting going?
No, man, I got up earlier than you. I went out hunting this morning, so, I've been up since 5:15.
We always do a deal out here at the ranch where, if I'm always ribbing Teddy or whatever, I'll say, hey, Teddy, you can go out in the morning or you can sleep in with the girls.
Stay at home
I've
with
been
the
the
girls.
one sleeping in with the girls. Well, not the girls, my wife. Because none of the women out here ever make the morning hunt. My wife doesn't actually hunt. She sits in a deer stand in the evenings, but that's our kind of little knock on each other. So now I slept in today, dude. I knew that I was going to have to crank this podcast out, and so I got up. My alarm clock went off at 6 a.m. this morning, and I knew what my strategy was.
Mm-hmm.
Go straight to the refrigerator. X that. The freezer part of my refrigerator. Pull out that Tito's vodka. Pour in about 2 inches at the bottom of a glass. Douse over a little bit of orange juice, and drink that and go back to sleep. And I got about 2.5 more hours of sleep due to that protocol. Now, in the way of building muscle mass and trying to get in shape for this little project I got coming up, it didn't do a goddamn thing to facilitate that process. But nonetheless, by the time I'm sitting up in there and it's kind of sun's starting to come up with con hair coming through the curtains, I went ahead and drew them. And I'm sitting there just kind of drinking a little vodka orange juice and put it down and just went back off to La La Land when you was out there chasing deer. Did you see anything this morning?
Saw a handful of deer. I mean, one older deer that we were talking about, he's not helping the program, but he's not hurting.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's got an itchy trigger finger or, wants some meat, he could go. But just the same cast of characters. A pretty good young, 3.5-year-old deer, that white-horned one that we were talking about. Yeah, I saw him. But, nothing to peg the needle, that's for sure.
But I tell you what, there's a lot of people out there that don't deer hunt, but we do out here at the Broken Skull Ranch. I've been hunting my entire life, as well as Ted Fowler here. You had a great story yesterday. You can't see the visuals on this because it's a podcast. It's audio only, but Ted had the goddamnest story I've ever heard deer hunting yesterday. The bucks out here are in rut. And to the people out there that don't know what the rut is, that's when the bucks are kind of charged up on testosterone. This is the part of the year where they breed, and the does go into estrus. They go into heat. And, man, that scent, that smell just drives the bucks crazy, and that's when they do their breeding. And during this time, there's some very intense fights out here, at not just the Broken Skull Ranch, but in any place where you have deer. When it's breeding season, these bucks fight, and they're fighting for breeding rights, and it's to the death sometimes, because they ain't fucking around. This ain't no pro wrestling match.
Nope.
You might as well put them in an octagon and let them go.
Yeah.
Put Big John McCarthy out there to referee the sumbitch, and I don't even know if Big John can keep these guys in check. But anyway, Teddy had a story. He was out there hunting a particular 9-point buck that we kind of wanted taken off the ranch. We had this buck that aged at about 6.5 years old, and Teddy was sitting over in the middle of the pasture. And the day before, an 11-point had come and given this 9-point a hard time. Teddy, pick up the story and drop in the details about how the situation went down, because this is a great story.
Well, the day before, like I said, I was watching that buck. That 11-point came in and kind of gave him the stink eye.
And when I say stink eye, when Teddy says stink eye, now here's the thing. When these deer kind of start jousting and getting ready to kind of go in for the kill and start fighting, they'll go in like a clockwise or counterclockwise circle, and they turn their heads in and down, and they lay their ears back. And it's almost like watching slow motion or watching two pro wrestlers circle in the ring. And these guys are dead serious. They're sizing each other's up. They're sizing each other up. They're coming up with a little bit of strategy. And, usually it's the old dip of the head and clash. There go the antlers. And so that's what these guys were doing. Let me go ahead with your story.
Yeah, and they'll bristle up their fur, so all of a sudden they'll go from a light gray to kind of a dark brown, and that's when you know that they mean business. So the 9-pointer is standing, I don't know, maybe 50 yards away from the feeder, and that 11 comes in and pretty much let everybody know, hey, I'm the boss. And that 9-pointer didn't want anything to do, so he took off, and that spared him for the day. Went back the next day, didn't see him in the morning. hunted that evening. As soon as the feeder went off, he came out. He was out there with a handful of other deer, and so I go ahead and shoot him. I don't want to get real graphic about that.
No, but the graphics was because Teddy does it. There's a lot of non-hunters out there, but this is the story.
Yeah.
But the deer reared up on both legs, straight up in the air, vertical.
Yeah.
And then just went straight down to the plant.
Yeah, didn't go a foot. Didn't kick.
He didn't suffer.
No, he was dead. He was dead.
I'm a proud hunter.
Right away.
Teddy made a great shot. The deer reared up and went down. But that's imperative to know for the rest of the story.
Well, and that's there's two things about that. I mean, we wait and make the optimum shot, so it's a quick, clean kill. And dude, I'm lazy. I don't want to go tracking that thing through the brush,
Especially in the South Texas brush where everything has a thorn on it and will cut your stick and hurt you. Go ahead. The 11 point now is in waiting. Yeah.
And see, I didn't know that the 11 point was there. So, the buck's down. I go ahead and, unload the gun, put the binoculars away, put the camera away, because I'm under the assumption, once the animal, has been shot, all the excitement's over. There's nothing left to film.
He's just laying there. Ted's going to go put him on the back of the Polaris and bring him in. But Ted has a backpack just like I do. We got the cameras in there to take our still photos, our video cameras, the binoculars, maybe a water or Red Bull. So he's spooling up all this stuff because the job is done. He's going to go collect the buck and come over here to the cleaning station.
Yeah, come back and take care of it. Still daylight hours.
Something else happens.
Yeah. So I look out onto the field, and, there's my buck laying there dead, and lo and behold, that 11-pointer comes saddling up to his right side, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And his hair gets all bristled up, and he starts that sideways walk, and he tilts his head down to the side, and I'm like, you are shitting me. This guy's ready to fight. And the other guy...
He gonna kick a brother while he's down.
Yeah, apparently he didn't get the newsletter that this guy's dead. Yeah. So he walks around him for just a split second, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody rang a bell, and he just pounces head first into that buck's head, and they start clashing antlers. And I mean, obviously the one's dead.
Yeah.
But the other guy is giving him the business, and my biggest fear, is that he's going to get broken up. Get his antler.
Teddy didn't want his buck's antlers to get broken. We're about 2/3 into the rut.
Correct.
And with all the fighting that's going on, a lot of times deers will break off their tines. And, if you're going to mount a deer, you always like the tines to be intact. Now, you can have a taxidermist fix that. I just hate to go down that route.
Correct.
So, excuse me. So anyway, there he is.
Yeah, so he's thrashing that dead buck around, and he literally picks his head and chest up off of the ground using his antlers, Then he shakes his head a couple of times. They come unattached. The buck is laying with his stomach exposed, and that live buck just went, bonkers and went head first with his antlers into that other buck's stomach and basically bulldozed him about 5 or 6 feet across the ground, because he's literally trying to kill him, to gore him to death. And all I can see is my deer getting torn up. So, hell, I'd, being the quick thinker, I just...
Now that means that Ted is not a rocket scientist. What'd you do?
Yeah, there's a real good reason why I'm a carpenter and not an animal biologist. Hell, I come, peeling out of the blind, and I start running towards that thing, yelling, hey, and I'm waving my hands like an idiot. And that buck is just kicking that other, kicking the dead buck's ass. And he's oblivious to me coming up there. I get to within about 20 yards, and he stops. Once he realizes there's more commotion going on, there's some idiot running at him, waving his arms. That son of a gun stops and looks at me, and then I stop, and I'm like, well, shit. Yeah.
Did you start pawing the ground and turn your head sideways?
Yeah, piss on my legs. Yeah, and I'm thinking, God damn it, I got a pocket knife with me, and that's it. And then the buck, he took about 15 steps, and he stopped and turned around again. And then he realized, that's some idiot that's in there shooting, so maybe I should leave. Yeah, and he left.
But you didn't take your gun with you. And there's so many people, Teddy, and you know this, but obviously you didn't want your buck get torn up and you didn't have your gun with you. But, I mean, people don't understand. When these white-tailed bucks fight, I mean, they are, and they're some of the most powerful animals out there. That's why I have so much respect for them. I mean, it's my favorite North American animal to hunt, hands down. It's the white-tailed deer, and I love them out here in South Texas. And they mean business, mister. And you get some of these idiots out here in some of these state parks all over the world, whatever, wanting to feed the wild animals. And you'll see a lot of times, man, when those bucks or even a doe rears up on their back feet and starts giving it the old
kicking?
boxing
Yeah,
match,
yeah.
mister, you are in for a world of goddamn trouble, because when they go to open up a can, a full-grown man ain't going to beat up a full-grown whitetail.
Nope.
Ain't going to happen.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Not even Brock Lesnar.
A couple of years ago, you remember, I was on the north end, and there were those two bucks that actually had their antlers locked together, and I watched those guys for probably 30 minutes in the early morning light, and the whole time I was thinking, man, how are we going to subdue these guys to get them apart? Because, Jesus, I mean, the power that they possess, and those hooves are sharp. The last thing they're going to do is, be docile, while we're trying to help them out, man.
They don't know you're trying to help them out.
Oh, yeah.
You got a couple of human beings that they're not really down with, and,
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know what people think when they get in there, and start jacking around with wild animals. It's,
So whatever happened to those two bucks?
They eventually came apart.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they stood there breathing heavy because they were winded, and they literally, were locked together. Like the old Chinese finger trap, had them stuck.
What's the Chinese finger trap?
Dude, it's that little piece of plastic where you put both your fingers in, and then you go to pull it out, and it cinches down like the mesh bag that you'll get produce in at the grocery store, or onions in. Something like that. You never saw one of those?
No. What? Will you buy them online?
I'll get you one for Christmas.
No. The Chinese finger trap sounds like something I need to stay away from. Teddy, it's New Year's, man. We're going to talk about some other stories that happened out here during 2014, this illustrious year that is coming to a close. What were some of the highs and lows for you on a personal level? Was it a good year for Ted Fowler Construction?
Yeah, business was good. Business was real good. Got no complaints. Got a lot of stuff lined up, so next year's going to be pretty good as well.
Ted, here's a question for you. You've been so successful down in Rockport, Texas with your business, and I always tell other people you're hired in giraffe pussy, but due to the fact that you were so successful in 2014, I'm thinking this. Picture a giraffe on a pair of stilts working for Barnum and Bailey Circus. Now, that's some real high giraffe pussy because it's on a 10-foot stilt. Are you going to jack your prices that high, Teddy? The working man won't be able to afford the working man that's charging higher than a giraffe pussy on stilts.
No. It won't be on stilts. There may be a slight increase, but...
Hey, brother got to pay the bills. But it's been a good year for you down there?
Yeah, it's been a real good year. Real good year.
You ever think about pulling out of Rockport?
No, man. No, I love it down
Los
there.
Angeles, maybe getting the movie business.
Dude, I couldn't take the pay cut.
I could see you on an audition for a movie part. Boy, that'd be great.
Boy, yeah, you talk about classy.
You got some highs in 2014. Business was good. Your dogs are good. You got Tula trained up, running quail. When are we going to see her in action? I ain't seen her in action yet.
Trying to find some quail where there's not cactus.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's not copacetic. Like, what do they do?
She'll...
Like a little Kevlar shield on them, or just the feet?
No, dude, if you put
Dude,
boots...
you were just out there walking in the front yard. Didn't look like her feet was bothering.
No, that doesn't bother her. But if I take her to a pear patch, where all the quail are, and turn her loose, she'll go balls out into that thing, without reservation. She won't run with booties on.
Right.
If you put, protective booties on. But where she'll take an injury is to the face or to the chest by running into that stuff, and she doesn't know enough. She doesn't have that internal governor to slow her down to pace herself. Like Cassie, Hershey, they would pick their way through, find easy spots. No, Tula go balls out.
All right, now, Caspia, your prize chocolate lab. She's a bird-fetching son of a gun.
Not
and
this
a sweetheart
year.
of a dog. Now, she had knee surgery.
Yep.
How's she doing? She's on the mend. She 100% yet? And because you didn't get a chance to get her out there hunting.
No, you know what? I'd say she's about 90%. I mean, that's why I've been taking her for the walks, try to strengthen up that leg. The doctor said no hunting at all this year. And I'll probably I will hunt her because I don't listen. But I'll have her do a couple of small retrieves later on in the season. Nothing crazy.
How long does duck season last out here?
Well, duck season lasts into January.
Good as a bird to her, it don't make a shit. If
It
she
don't
sees
make
the fall,
a shit.
she's going to go get it.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, whether it's a dove or a,
My
condor,
damn
she
brother-in-law
doesn't matter.
came out this past week. He's from South Carolina. Somebody shot a mallard. What was the other duck he shot out there?
It was a breeding pair. Well, a male and a female mallard.
They're both mallards?
Hen and a drake, yes, sir.
Dude, we don't see too many of those out here. Why not?
Not at all. Man, they don't really get this far south on the Central Flyway, which is what we're in.
Yep.
You know, they're the last ducks to leave. When a cold front comes through, pushes from the north to the south down into Mexico, the teal, the smaller ducks, they haul balls first, but the mallards are the last ones to leave.
God damn, you ain't gonna get hot about it.
No, I'm just trying to give you a little 411 on ducks.
Segway. Boy, if I tell you, if they don't get your goddamn blood pulsing, I don't know what the fuck will. You must be dead if that didn't rock your ass. Little stillboard from Zach Wild before we segue into some other bullshit. Teddy, you mentioned Tula not want to run in booties. Speaking of booties, did you get your share of ass in 2014?
Yes, sir, I did.
Could you have had more?
Of course.
So your sight's on 2015. Happy, copacetic?
Not unlike my construction company, hopefully there will be a slight increase.
Teddy, I've got to ask you. You're semi-single, but just because you're not, really married like myself.
Correct.
How much pussy is too much pussy for a man?
Goddamn, when I get close, I'll let you know. When I get close.
As he sips on his coffee, and you hear the rumble of my rocks right there drinking a margarita. Goddamn, that's probably one of the best answers I think I've ever heard on this show, Teddy. I've interviewed a lot of cats. When I get close, I'll let you know. You was out there deadlifting. You started deadlifting this year with me.
Yeah.
Now, has that improved your performance in the bed?
I like to think so. Yeah,
Here's the thing.
Strengthen up my ground game.
Teddy, I've known you for 8 years. I ain't never seen you do one abdominal exercise since the whole time I've known you. Except for the last 2 months. You started working on your core.
Correct.
Any payoff?
Man, actually, I think it is. I mean, I'm a long way from, having any abs that you can see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you can fuck better.
Yeah. Stamina is a little better.
I tell you what, man, I was going to do the DDP yoga program. DDP yoga is one of the sponsors of my show, and, of course, one of my best friends, Diamond Dallas Page, invented the program. And I'd been so hell-bent on getting into the DDP yoga thing, and I brought one of the DVDs down here for me to get into this year. But I've been so goddamn hectic, man. You see the schedule.
Correct.
If I ain't doing all this podcast stuff, I've got other stuff that I've got to do. So, and on top of being on the mower, you and me kind of swapping out on that, patching the fence. I ain't had time to get into any DDP yoga. And I told these people a couple of years ago, whether it was last year, I've been doing this podcast for about a year and a half, year and 3/4, that I was going to get into DDP yoga and just fuck my way to fitness.
I remember.
God damn it. I got to do some core work. I'm disappointed. I'm still, I ain't going to brag on myself in bed, and I'm certainly no slouch either, but I think if I had a little bit more core strength, I might be able to do a little bit better damage in the sack. I mean damage in a good way. So
I'm going to have to take your word on that.
So that's my New Year's resolution, to strengthen up my core so I can fuck better. Now, I think that's a realistic New Year's resolution, isn't it?
I agree, yeah.
I mean, certainly two guys who love the female anatomy as much as you and myself do, and one that would commit themselves to perform better for the good of both people.
Correct.
And, quite selfishly for me, so I don't blow up. It's ain't nothing but a thing when you're kind of trying to go at it and you're sweating bullets because your goddamn stomach's cramping up. And I got this one arm that don't straighten up, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage anyway. So I got to do something to goddamn get back in shape.
Dude, I started working more on my calves. I think that's another.
I know you, but you got to start going them calves. I've seen you on those calf raises. You got to go down a little bit further, get that stretch, and then come all the way up.
Yeah. I know. I don't.
But working your calves ain't gonna help you fuck.
Well, actually.
Well, okay, never mind. Maybe it will. Maybe
I got this one little trick I do.
Dad had a lot of people, that's enough about the crass horse shit, talking about pussy and stuff like that. Although I do love me some pussy. Teddy, we had a lot of people sending some questions, some motivational stuff. And let's get into a couple of these questions, because you and me got to go out there and get in a deer stand here in a little bit. Got to turn in this podcast, do my reads, do all that bullshit. And here's one. Start this thing off from Jamie over in Ann Arbor. And he says, hey, Steve, I recently had shoulder surgery on a torn labrum and deltoid and have been slacking on my PT. PT stands for physical therapy. Will you give me a profanity-laced promo telling me to get my lazy ass up? Thanks. Swig of water for the lazy man. Well, Jamie, you sorry sack of shit. How? I thought the labrum was a part of the pussy. That's the labia. The labrum is in the shoulder. I'm fucking with you, Jamie. I'm like a human anatomy machine over to this motherfucker at the Broken Skull Ranch. Now, I don't know how in the fuck you think you're going to get your ass back in shape without doing your PT. Teddy, talk to this motherfucker. That damn PT ain't going to happen by itself. If you don't drive yourself and go over there and do your therapy, your shoulder's going to stay weaker than fuck. Your damn shoulder's going to be a piece of shit. I ain't going to be able to shit or wind your watch, jerk off. You got a shrunk up arm. You ain't going to get no pussy with a torn labrum.
No, not carrying around something that looks like a chicken wing on that end of your shirt. No.
God damn, dude. You had to go chicken wing on a brother right off
I
the
see a
bat.
little T-Rex action going on.
Boy, I tell you what, until you get that labrum PT'd up, I ain't going to come out to dinner with you, because I know you ain't going to be able to reach for that check. Shit. I know I'm going to be buying us dinner if we go out to eat. Jamie, you sorry son of a bitch. When you go through as many surgeries as I've had, if you know as many people that have had surgeries that I do, everybody that I know in the business of pro wrestling has had at least 1 to 5 major surgeries. So it's all about the PT, dude. Man, get in there and get your ass in there and be consistent. And I'll go back to this consistency thing all throughout the podcast, because at the end of the day, you know, I've always been kind of one of those guys that gets in damn good shape, and then all of a sudden deer season hits, and it's time to live a little bit of life,
right,
and drink a few beers and eat some lasagna and bullshit like that. So now I'm on the upswing, too, trying to get my ass back in the gym, and recently got a guy write up a diet for me, but due to the fact we've been entertaining so many motherfuckers out here, Teddy, with family members and
no, it's impossible to eat,
out
right?
Here, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, and tonight now, you know, my family has just hauled ass. We still got a couple other people out here, but dude, I'm doing a quiet evening tonight, and I'm taking my ass to bed because I got 6 days before I ship out and go do that project.
Right.
So I got to kind of tone it down. I got to learn a few lines, go do this little bullshit cameo part in this movie. So anyway, Jamie, swig of water for the lazy man. Don't be lazy. Get your ass in there and do your PT, brother. Hey, man, here's one here, Teddy. Huge fan of the Texas Rattlesnake and the podcast. Steve, do you have a horseshoe pit set up at the BSR? It'd be fun to listen to you and Ted Fowler 361 shoot the breeze and hear a few clanks of the shoes hitting the stakes while talking the great sport of wrestling sports entertainment. Thanks, Scrunch Dog 8 on Twitter. Well, old Scrunch Dog, you know what, Teddy? I've owned this place 8 years, and we ain't got no washers. We ain't got no, you know, you ever pitched washers before? We ain't got no horseshoes. How come we ain't got no horseshoes? Now, I own the place. I could have said, Ted, let's put up a horseshoe pit.
We could get...
You dig throwing horseshoes?
Yeah, either that or cornhole. Either one of those games. I'm not really big on the washers.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, either horseshoes or
cornhole. My
cornhole.
problem is this. I'm too competitive. See, if I go out there and you start smoking me throwing the horseshoes, well, then, you know, there's animosity. We got an electronic dartboard. Let me say, I've got a...
I was afraid you were going to go there.
Goddamn right I'm going there. I hate losing. I got a badass electronic dartboard out in the pavilion where we have all of our bullshit and a big screen TV to watch a UFC, sound system, our gym, power rack, all the weights set up, all my neon signs and beer memorabilia. And I got a dartboard over there. And so I asked old Teddy, I said, hey, man, how did you answer this question? I said, hey, man, you ever throw any darts?
I said I have once or twice.
So anyway, I turn on the dartboard. It makes all the little noises that it makes, and we proceed to step back about 7-8 feet, whatever the damn throw distance was. We measured it out, put a piece of tape on the ground, and Teddy started smoking my ass one game after the next. And every time it looked like I might win, something happened that I ended up losing again. So, Teddy, how long has it been since we played darts?
About 4 years.
Yeah. I like throwing darts. And so I figured I'd go back to L.A. because I got a smaller electronic board in my garage.
Right.
And I figured I'd start practicing so I could beat your ass. And I never got a chance to practice because I'm always doing something else. So I guess maybe when I improve my skill level, we'll start playing darts again because it was fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had fun throwing against you, but when I kept losing, well, it kind of sucked ass.
Well, it didn't help when I was laughing either.
No, because it really made me want to punch you in the mouth. But as much as I hate losing, I can turn to be a bad sport. Goddamn, we got to get Big John McCarthy to come out here and referee our dart game. Well, Steve, why specifically did you bring me out here? Well, because I keep losing. So anyway, horseshoes, man, I just ain't been a big horseshoe guy. I've certainly pitched my fair share of horseshoes back in the day when people had them, but ain't my cup of tea. I'd rather sit there and drink and listen to music.
I mean, something that we could do inside of the pavilion, I think, would be more, I think we would use it more. Yeah, but I'm the same way, man. I just sit on my ass and drink.
Hey, here's another thing you and I don't do. I never have been a big card player. I got a lot of buddies just sit around and play poker or play dominoes. And I just ain't never been a card player.
No, dude. I don't like to gamble.
I mean, even play solitaire.
Even play for fun. No, I hate that shit. That's what old people do. Play
dude,
cards.
There's a lot of young people. There's a lot of young people that play solitaire.
It's because they don't hunt.
No. Did you ever do any kind of activity like that?
No. I don't like board games. I don't like, I don't like dice. I don't like cards. No, that's boring to me.
So what?
But I like darts. I like shooting pool. Stuff you can do.
So yeah, I'd bring a pool table out here and get my ass smoked in pool. That wouldn't be worth a flying fuck either.
Now I will tell you this: I had a pool table at my house, so I know I've played pool once or twice as well.
See, you're one of those motherfuckers with your carpentry, and you got to know those angles. See, I'm okay at just drawing down on the ball that I'm trying to shoot.
Right.
But then when I try to put a little bit of English to set my cue ball up to, play my next shot so I can play ahead, like the good people do.
Right.
Well, then I fuck myself up because if I just go to knock the ball in, I'm good, but I can't set up my next shot, and that's my downfall.
Well, it helps if you have a pool table at your house. You can practice.
Yeah, but I ain't going to bring a motherfucker out here. Fuck if Willie Moscone or Minnesota Fats was still around, I'd hire them to personally coach me. And it's always funny because, back in the day when you fancy yourself as a pool player, you always want to go to the store and get you a good stick.
Correct.
I had a couple of pool cues when I was in WWE. We had a couple of stone cold pool cues. Mm-hmm. But I was like, man, when you watch some of those old guys or some of those guys, you've seen them at the bar. You've done your share of bar hopping.
Yep.
You get that guy, he'll roll in there and he'll pull out that badass several $100, $1,000 stick, whatever, screw that thing together and think he's a cat's ass. And all of a sudden you got some guy that looks like a gypsy over there in the corner missing about 3 teeth, and he's got the crooked stick that just came off the rack, and he's beating everybody's ass.
Correct. Yeah, that guy with his own pool stick is either real good or really shitty.
Yeah. And but don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of people hustled by
that
guy,
too. Yeah. But there's also been a lot of people hustled by that guy missing 3 teeth using the house
No,
stick.
That's what I'm saying. You ever been hustled in a pool hall?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, in a bar, not in a pool hall.
So
yeah,
what happened?
I got my ass handed to me, man. I started running the table a few times on this guy and drinking Jack, and boy, I started beating my chest, and fuck, I'm playing
Was he setting you up?
Yeah. Badly. Yeah, and then I opened my fucking mouth without thinking. Imagine that from me. Yeah, no, we played. I beat him 3 games, and I mean, not handily, but because he wasn't letting me blow him out of the water. But by the same token, in my mind, I'm thinking, God damn, if I would have just, made that one shot, it would have been over. And this guy's still laying money down. And he was like, dude, I got $200 left in my pocket. Let's call it quits because I'm going to split. Let's play, you in for all. And I'm going, yeah, dude, because I've already taken, $20 a game for 3 games. Hell, I'm $60 in. So yeah, like a dumbass, I pitched 140 of my money out there, and that's the last time I saw that shit. Yeah, once that paper hit the table, yeah, his whole demeanor is like when that 12-point walked up on that dead buck. You saw a whole change of demeanor.
So Teddy, you're not frequenting the bar scene as much. So now you're not really, and plus, times been where they are. And you're not exactly going to make money with your pool career. You got a better chance of being hustled, but you ain't been going to the bars as much no more.
No, man, it's too.
You get too old?
Too much trouble. You know what I mean? All the young kids in there raising hell, and dude, I'm.
The bar scene has changed, though, Teddy.
The bar scene has
changed. Back in the day, you could go to a bar, and this is just the way it is. It's plain and God, honest truth. You could go to the bar and just get totally shit-faced and people would drive home.
Correct.
I mean, and that's just the way it was.
Correct.
But these days, man, I mean, and I say this, do not drink and drive ever. Did I do that a few times back in my wilder days? Yes, I did.
Yep.
I'm guilty. But through all the trials and tribulations, the headaches, hassles, and horseshit, if I could give anybody any piece of advice, I like to help a brother out every now and then on this show for a shoot with some real deal advice. Don't ever drink and drive. But it's really changed the bar business, has it not?
Yes, absolutely. Now that the bar owners are responsible for, the actions of their patrons, where before, God damn, you'd see a guy falling ass drunk and still getting served. They don't do that stuff anymore. And especially, the small town I live in, where the cops are going to sit because there's only a couple of ways, out of, we've got a handful of bars. And late at night coming out for those roads, they're looking for something. You know what I mean?
And nobody wants to use a designated driver because they want to do it themselves. They want to have a few pops, get behind the wheel, and that's a big mistake once again.
Huge.
But that's just a mentality.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to just drag some deadbeat or their buddy to be the designated driver so they can just sit there and get shit-faced. They want to do it themselves.
Dude, who wants that phone call at midnight? Hey, dude, right. I'm Blotto. Can you come give me a ride home?
But at least, there's a lot of the cab services, or there's a lot of bars these days. I mean, they'll buy you a cab home.
Correct.
I mean, that's a cool thing.
Correct.
My brother Kevin, who's 10 months younger than me, he wanted to open up a beer bar there in Edna, Texas, and one came available. And he said, hey, man, Steve, what about buying this thing? And I'll run it. And, because I always wanted to be in the bar business or have a place where people could have a few drinks. But because of the dynamics that exist with all the drinking and stuff these days, it's like, man, that's a business. I want to be in the beer business, been working on a beer.
Right.
But I want to, to have that